going on, everybody? It's FREEDO here for your Overwatch. We're going to get to the subject matter of this video in a moment, but first I wanted to clear something up. A lot of people ask us, how are you able to make guides on this game if you're only in Platinum rank? Which does make some degree of sense, but if you look a little closer at our career profiles, we've only played Season 2 for about 20 or so hours, and it's been out 3 weeks. That averages us at like an hour playtime a day, which granted, it isn't enough. We want to play more. But at the same time, we don't want to just grind through the ranks in matchmaking. It isn't good. We want to try to get a group together. But another problem we have is we don't have a lot of friends that are dedicated Overwatch players. They play from other games, they're people we know, and they just don't know the game that much. So I want to extend this opportunity to you guys to play with us. And another thing to clear up is that oftentimes in our videos, when we talk about switching heroes and team compositions, we get blamed as if we're the ones that never want to switch roles. Like, oh, you just want to play the carry role. That is not it at all. Let me get that straight. If you are a sick Genji, McCree, or Pharah, to the point that you're better than one of us at the roles that we like to play, we will be your healer, baby. We will take away the pain. I can be your Lucio. And if you want to get more Overwatch-themed parody songs, come over to our streams. We stream whenever we go live with videos, so that means we're live now. I'm talking to you. Yes, go ahead, click off the video, come back, go to the stream, check it out. So how do you want to go about adding? Well, in the comment section below, put your region and your battle tag, your rank, and what heroes you like to play. If you're in the mid to high diamonds, I definitely want to start trying some of you guys out. I'm sure you're very nice people. I don't think there's a reason why we can't have a squad playing in this game and have a lot of fun together. Also, linked in the description is a Discord server for you guys to connect with the community. I'm told that there's a bunch of cool features where you can like chat amongst each other and network. So even you guys that are at the lower ranks might be able to find some friends there as well. Now, if you're not comfortable with putting your battle tag in the comment section, you can direct message it to me on my personal Twitter, which is displayed at the end of the video. And I don't want to leave you console guys out high and dry either, so I want to encourage you all to coordinate with each other in the comment section as well. Put the same information and what console you play on, and hopefully some of you guys can group up and start playing some higher level Overwatch together. There's a lot of talk going around about what's the easiest way to stack in queues. Should you play in 3 stacks? Should you play solo? Is it easier this way or that way? In my opinion, I would ignore what's easier and play the real game in a 6 stack. That's the best way to play. It's the way you get your money's worth out of Overwatch. So let's all do it together. Now, with all that jolly good stuff out of the way, I got one of those commentaries that a lot of people are going to disagree with again. When we made the Roadhog's Not a Tank video, and yes, I'm bringing this up again, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but it has to be said. I think this video probably should have been before it, because it seems that we have a big discrepancy in the community about how we define certain things, because Overwatch is a brand new game, right? It's not like Dota, which has been around for years and years. I mean, since I was a teenager, for instance, and all the terminology has already been figured out. We already all agree on what we're gonna call what. But at base, it seems the way we want to define things is under different parameters than how Blizzard wanted to define hero roles and how some of the community view it as well. So first, I want to define the purpose of why we're harsh on the hero classifications and how they're understood, so then maybe we can bridge the gap between these misunderstandings and really reveal that a lot of the heroes are miscategorized. So first, why this is important. In our view of the game, we want players to have the most streamlined access to building correct compositions because team comp is so important to the game. If a player simply thinks you're supposed to pick offensive heroes on attack and defensive heroes on defense, that's really confusing. And what we'd rather have happen is that these labels are actually useful to the game itself, so that players can more easily learn what is the correct responses to things, and not necessarily only have to turn to YouTube videos, but be able to understand it in the game. So with that being said, let me make it clear, we don't really see a value in labeling the roles based on aesthetic features, or in sort of the general common understanding mindset of what a character means, to like the lore, or the attitude you think the player's gonna go into the character's playstyle. Even if you are supporting the team with sort of a tech pick like Symmetra, if that's what we want support to mean, then the actual dedicated healers should have a separate tag, so that's understood too. Because if you pick Symmetra as one of your support quote-unquote roles and don't have enough healing, we need to emphasize that healing's far more important than support then. It all comes down to the gameplay for us. You can make arguments based on, well, this is how it's defined in other games. I want to redefine these things. things. And maybe it's too late to do that, the game's already out. But what we can do as a community is develop our own terms for these things, because other esport games weren't just whole cloth made by the developer. Oftentimes they were a groundswell community, either a modding scene or in many cases sort of a grassroots group popularized the competitive aspect of the game and just gave terms to things, right? By no means do we have to just assume that Blizzard's allowed to define things however they want. They can, but us as a community who understands how to play the game, and that's an important distinction, the developers don't dictate how the game is played, because if they did, when ninjas in pajamas pick their dominant triple tank, triple support, and a little pop-up says, not enough damage, and they win the tournament, what does Blizzard know? You know what I mean? They're experts at making the game, not necessarily the meta of the game, and that's fine. We all have our roles to play. Roles, see what I did there? One argument that I do agree with is that when we say Roadhog is not a tank, that in fact he's an off tank. Yes, that's true, but if we're willing to go that far with it and say he's an off tank, what does the word off even mean? That means it's a substitute for something that is tankier, right? So immediately, even in that way of thinking, we're establishing that there's a spectrum here, from more to less tankiness. And with that being said, what we think is just an extra little foot, logically, that Roadhog, in fact, doesn't have enough tanking properties to be fit into the tank role and his role on the team. Now, I'll let you watch the Roadhog's Not a Tank video for the rest of that, but this video is about why that's important. Because really what a lot of these people are trying to say when they say he's an off tank is that he's a frontline character. And yeah, that's true. He's a frontline character, he can be an off tank, but why is he an off tank? Why is he the most off of off tanks is the important thing to note. And we think it would be better for players trying to learn the game to understand when the little icon pops up that you need more tanks, that Roadhog isn't just an instant pick that you can pop in there. It isn't that simple. Roadhog is a specific tool for a specific job, and the job isn't tankiness. He's good at crowd controlling, faster characters that want to zip around that you can land insta-kills on. He's good at dealing massive amounts of burst damage to Reinhardt shields, absolutely wrecks Winston in his face. But all these characteristics are based upon his ability to deal damage to these things, which is why we would rather him be classified with different tags. This conversation starts to go down a different area, which I could make an entirely separate video about, but I personally would like each hero to have descriptive tags for the types of jobs they're best at doing. And to us, tanking is a type of tag that implies supporting your team with tankability. Health points that charge ultimates do not tank for the team. Defense Matrix, Zarya shields, Winston and Reinhardt barriers, those tank for the team in the same way that Mercy's staff heals the team. I make that distinction because Mercy doesn't support the team, she heals the team. That's her main role. And I don't want the term tank to be as vague as support. In fact, I'd rather Symmetra be classified with Torb under Builder. I mean, they already use that tag sometimes in the Hero Select screen, not enough Builders, as if Builders were in the meta anyway, but at least then we could start to understand the playstyle and the role in the team. Like, if you have a Builder, your team comp is completely different, just as how if you're playing without a main tank. Furthermore, with all of you, I'll meet you halfway. Why don't we split up the tank category to main tank and off tank? Simple. The highest end of the game has already created these terms. That is how the pros have been splitting up the heroes anyway. So for those of us trying to learn the game, and a channel like ours that is trying to teach the game based upon the high level play, let's let that knowledge base trickle down. Split up the healers and the main damage dealers and the flankers and the main tanks, off tanks, and builders, rather than have them be in this befuddled mess of really vague titles that don't explain exactly what the characters do. I could put this into more complex terms, I could break down each and every character, but I think this was a good introduction into our way of thinking about the game, and hopefully I've convinced some of you to see the usefulness of seeing the game this way. Because I know a lot of you who do think Roadhog should simply be called a tank, maybe an off tank, also do agree that he shouldn't just be picked as a main tank, and he shouldn't be an insta-lock for teammates that say, well, I'm picking a tank. Well, really, you're picking a DPS. You don't understand the tank game, which a lot of it is about positioning and counterplay, whereas Roadhog is a more aim-dependent hero, which is another route I think we could go down. I floated this idea up at the beginning of our channel's life, but I'll bring it up here again because a lot of you guys weren't here back then. In Dota, there's a menu you can go into in order to see the entire grid of heroes, and you can select tags like these based upon the roles and playstyles that they develop and it will highlight the different characters that actually fit those things. So yes, Roadhog is a tank, we might agree he's an off-tank, but without a doubt, you have to put the terms crowd control and DPS in his kit as well, because that's mainly what he's doing. Or maybe we want to have better terms than that. I don't have to be the ones to invent them, but I just want the conversation to start. Because so much of the information that Overwatch gives you misleads players into misunderstanding. Oftentimes you get Roadhogs who are spamming into Rhine shields and death balls with their right click, getting gold damage, dealing tons and tons of damage, looking at their McCree and saying, why don't you have gold damage? Clearly I'm the one carrying. Meanwhile, McCree is threading the needle with his shots and can't be expected to deal the same amount of damage. Now that obviously goes into the trash damage versus impact frags and gold medal fallacy videos I've made before, but I think tags like these would help us clear up these misunderstandings. Roadhog is one of the most capable damage dealing characters in the game. It's not helpful for people to be picking him, acting like they're fulfilling some supportive tank role, and looking at everyone else like they're not doing their job because they don't actually understand their job or what they're playing if they're saying that stuff. Some other interesting tags we might put: snowball, greedy. What do these words mean? Well, Azaria can snowball her ability because she gains DPS the better she's played. Another tank that can easily get all the trash damage in the world and out DPS her damage dealing squishies. And that's another one, squishy. What does that even mean? Low health characters that are easy to focus down. What's a greedy pick? Symmetra can snowball with a teleporter, but she's a greedy pick because if that aspect of her game is countered, there's not a lot else going on there. A lot of her kit is based upon her value in getting a teleporter. Same with Bastion. High DPS, but he's a greedier pick because he's high risk, because a good Genji can reflect all that damage immediately and turn it into the other team, leaving Bastion vulnerable. That's something that the community has eventually, I think, gotten over. We don't really hear much complaints about Bastion anymore, but the entire game can be looked at in the same way, and I think the information and experience that the rest of us understand, who have played the game long enough to get it, can be filtered down with more appropriate terminology. Does that make sense? Can we all hug this out now? We don't have to be mad at each other. You don't have to put all these angry comments like we can't read the class distinction. He's in the tank category. How dare you say he's not a tank? That's how. It took this whole video to explain it, so I'm sorry if that's long-winded, but I think what we're trying to do is important, so I hope you guys appreciate it. Ultimately, we just want everyone to get better at the game. We're not just toying with you. We want to develop a higher understanding and command of the game mechanics. Not simply describe to you the basics, but to enable you to master the game. We don't mind getting criticized and getting feedback from you. Go ahead, keep leaving it. I'm not trying to stray you away from that. I'm just saying, let's give each other the benefit of the doubt. We're not just toying with you. There's a method to our madness. Well, that's it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, hit the like button. It really does help us out. You can subscribe for more. We upload each and every day. We've also been keeping a great stream schedule. We shoot for 5 days a week, but often accomplish 7. Stream goes live when our videos go live. Check it out. And hey, YouTube made this cute little bell icon near the subscribe button on our YouTube videos. If you click that, you can enable notifications so you never miss a video. That's been it for me. I've been FREEDO for your Overwatch. I'll see you guys next time.